Guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm back with one of my favorite kitchen appliances. Not the rice cooker today, guys. Although, you know, more coming soon. Today we've got my canner. My Nesco electric canner. This is a pressure canner, but today we're water bath canning because that is also a function of this machine. And since all my previous videos with this guy have been pressure canning, I thought I would share a water bath canning recipe with you. It's not a recipe. There's one ingredient and it's tomatoes. So today I am making just regular plain old tomato sauce. And I do this at the end of the season every year. Once all of my tomatoes have ripened as much as they are going to ripen, I basically just keep any extras in the freezer, and then when it's all done and we've like flipped the garden beds over for fall and winter, I go ahead and I can them. I've already canned them. Coming to you from the future. I will leave a link to this down below. Not sponsored. Hashtag not sponsored, but wish it was. Wouldn't that be nice? Anyway, I will leave a link to this machine down below because I do really love it. It's perfect for small batch canning or those of us who are scared of a big old pressure canner or have a glass cooktop because it's not recommended to can on a glass cooktop. So this is a perfect little machine for me, and I hope you enjoy this water bath canning video. Even if you are making your sauce out of like tomatoes that aren't from the freezer, you should freeze them first. And here is why. So these are all the tomatoes from our gardens. We've got cherries and Romas and some random ones that grew from leftover seeds from last year in the middle of the yard. And when you freeze them first and let them thaw, you're going to get rid of a lot of that water, which is going to definitely take the amount of time down when it comes to boiling your sauce down. So I really like this hack. I saw it on TikTok, and since I was just freezing my tomatoes anyway, it worked out perfect. Then I am going to put them on my stove, and I've got it on like a medium-high heat. And basically, I just want these to break down into a liquid. And it's going to take a little while. It depends on how frozen your tomatoes are still. But you want it to get like this, chunky, but a liquid. And then we are going to mill it. Now, I've seen people use these really fancy KitchenAid attachments or these big machines. I got this really simple manual food mill at a thrift store. I paid $2 for it. And I feel like I see them all the time at thrift stores. So check there first if you don't already have one. And basically, I'm just ladling a few scoops in, and I am turning it around, and it will remove all of the seeds and the skins, and all of that liquid is just going to go down right in the pot below. You just, turn it. I go backwards every once in a while just to scrape some of the seeds that are blocking the holes. And this is very simple and effective, and it is more time consuming than an electric one, but I really don't mind. You can also save the skin and the seeds, and you can dry it and make your own like powder out of it, like to season things. I did not do that this time. I just could not be bothered, but it is a thing you can do. And look at how full this pot is. This was a lot to do in one day. But I ended up going through both of those big pots of tomatoes, and this is what we have left. 2 super full pots of tomato juice is kind of what it's like now. And this part is entirely up to you. How thick do you want your tomato sauce? The primary use that we have for this sauce is going to be for pizza. So that's kind of what I keep in mind when I'm doing it. If you see how far down this has boiled, it's about a little over half of what it was when we started, and that looked good to me. I am using the instructions from the USDA home canning guide. This is a super safe thing to follow. I would recommend it. I'll link this book down below. But I did want to note that you do have to add citric acid or lemon juice to a water-bathed tomato product. And this is another hack that I like to do. If I time it just right, I have a sanitize option on my dishwasher, and I pulled that jar out right when it was done, so it was already hot. You cannot use a cold jar. If you put hot sauce in a cold jar, it will crack your jar. So you want a hot jar, and I have just timed it so expertly that I can pull it out of my dishwasher, but you can also boil your jars or heat your jars in other ways. I believe this needs like a 1/4 inch headspace. I'm terrible at eyeballing headspace, but Practice makes perfect. And once I have that full, I did follow the instructions for the lemon juice. I think it was half a tablespoon for half pints, which is what I'm using here. And I'm wiping the rim with my vinegar just to get it clean. I find, especially with tomato sauce, it's so messy. And if you have any of that sauce on the rim, you are not going to get a good seal. So keep that in mind. Make sure you're wiping your rims. We are putting our lids on. We are closing it finger tight. And there she goes. You could definitely water bath larger jars than this. I just find that this is the exact perfect amount for one deep dish pizza, which my family really loves. So that's why I choose a half pint. And you can fit 8 of them inside of your Nesco machine. So this is what it looks like on the inside. Make sure you have that rack that comes with the machine in there, and squeeze your 8 little jars in there. I definitely had to do more than one round because I had so much sauce, but that doesn't bother me. I do realize that it's more convenient. You can double stack them in a big canner on the stove. If that's your vibe, fine. I just assume use my little mini easy electric canner. I'm a small batch queen. This works great for me. So I squeeze those 8 on in there. And with the water bath canner, you don't need to put a specific amount of water in. You just need to make sure that your cans are covered by like at least an inch of water. And you are going to want to avoid using cold water. It doesn't need to be boiling water. The machine will bring it up to boiling, no problem. But if you put cold water in there, your jars will crack. I'm lucky enough, my tap gets like super hot. So I was able to just put really hot tap water in there, and that worked fine for me. But throw some water on the stove if that would work better for you. You do not want to crack these in there. It's a horrible pain to try to then pull them all out and clean it and all of that. Avoid it. We're not using anything cold today. Basically, that's the rule of thumb. Nothing cold. So once that is full, I am going to close the machine and we're going to leave the little dial on exhaust. We are not pressure cooking this. We do not want it airtight. We want to be able to have that steam be released from the top. So on the machine, you're going to press the WB button, which stands for water bath. And then we are going to put the time up to 35 minutes, which is what the USDA recommends for half pints of tomato sauce. And then we're going to press start. And you're going to see this little guy go around. I call it the centipede because it reminds me of that centipede video game. Once it reaches its boiling temperature, your countdown will start and there will be steam coming out of that little hole. So we're just going to let it sit, do its thing until it says off. And don't get excited. I like to let mine cool down a little bit before I go ahead and open it up just for a little while. But it's not pressurized, so don't worry, it's not going to explode if you open it. And when you open it and start pulling them out, you will definitely start to hear the little like pop sound of those lids sealing, which is great. You want to hear the popping sound. I was a little worried about that one. It's got a little dent in it. See, I was a little worried, but it turned out to be fine. It passed all the tests in the end. You'll see. I did end up doing another partial batch, so I did end up with 12 in total. This is the next day. I am just making sure that all of the lids sealed, so they're not going to be like popping up and down. I'm also tapping to hear the sound. If it sounds really like low and hollow, it means you did not get a good seal. And if there's one that sounds like that, it will sound totally different than the other ones, and you'll be able to tell right away. I also do the test where I remove the ring and I just test that seal to make sure it is nice and strong. All of them passed the test. All the lids were nice and flat, even that wonky one that I was a little bit worried about. It totally sealed just fine. So we're good there. And then the last thing I do, well, almost the last thing I do, is I take like a Lysol wipe and I disinfect all of them. This just ensures that any bacteria on the outside is gone. We really want these to last a really long time throughout the year 2026. So we want them to stay nice and clean. And then the actual last thing we're going to do is label them. It's really nice that I got these 12 cans. Obviously, that was a lot of tomatoes in the garden for just 12 little jars, but I really love that I was able to make it myself. And now we can have pizza once a month for the entire year of 2026, and the sauce is good to go. You can also season the sauce with spices and whatnot, but I prefer to just leave it blank. That way it's just a blank slate for whatever we want to do if we want to deviate from the pizza or change the flavor in any way. And there they are. Aren't they beautiful? Ready for the pantry. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this little video slash tutorial. I know it wasn't that long, but hopefully it reaches the people who want to see it. Every time I post a canning video, you guys tell me you like them, so I'm just gonna keep filming it every time I can something. So I hope you enjoyed it. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. And of course, come back for more content like this. We also have lots of other small appliances if you like, you know, air fryers, rice cookers, that sort of thing. Be sure to subscribe. And I will see you guys in my next one. Thanks for watching.